Luxenburough. In the northeast of the isolated nation of Granzia sits the Elven city of Luxenburough. Nestled west of the Terran Ridge, south of Dragonborn Valley in the Egelf Mountains, and east of the Levias Crossing in the Granzian Sea, the refugees of the First War of the Fey Kings made their home. Comprised mainly of Eladrin and High Elves, Luxenburough is a beacon of wealth, magic, and tradition. However, like many other Elven communities, the distribution of these things isn't equal. While the city's interior boasts the highest levels of magic, architecture, and affluence, the surrounding neighborhoods are closer to their more natural counterparts in the Forest Bastion.
The city is divided into 6 districts, each of these run by prominent families in the community. 6 families are chose to represent their district every century in the eve of the festival Arenarna. These representatives, also known as the Tellu, make up the council, or say our elder, that will run the city's affairs for the coming 100 years. The families that sit on the Seir Elder are the Galanodel, the Alaker, the Calorum, the Ridima, the Dunlurin, and the Ruashant. These families represent both the founders of the city and the newly ascended.
To the rest of the world, Luxenburough is a united city of power, distinction, and prominence, but the reality is much different. Those who live within its city's limits can attest to the difference between the inner and outer districts. While the inner districts are composed of the nobility and founding families, the outer districts are composed of the working and artisan classes. The inner city is focused more on power, bloodlines, and the arcane. The outer neighborhoods focus more on the industry and craftsmanship. If a visitor was to walk from the city's exterior walls toward the center, they would be confronted with a real fundamental change in surroundings the closer they got to the inner districts. Moving from dirt and packed earth paths and roads in the more natural dwellings to the densely forested outer districts to the broader, paved and cobblestone roads in the more manicured and developed residents of the Fey and Elven-inspired inner districts.
Faith is another subject that changes the further you travel into the city. In the outer districts, different pantheons of gods are prominent. The pantheons include, but aren't limited to, the Protector, the Moonweaver, Hunter, the Lone Wolf, the Winsome Rose, and the Trickster. Depending on the district or neighborhood, one god may be more prominent than the other. The closer you get to the center of the city, the pantheons fall away, and you are confronted with the monotheistic worship of the Protector. There is a heavy connection between the Protector and the creation of the Fey and the Elves, making him the prominent deity among the elite and pure bloodlines. However, 2 things keep the city united and in working order: the export and industry surrounding the Weave Willow and the festival of Arenarna.
The Weave Willow is one of the most critical resources that the city has access to. Having settled within a grove of these arcane-infused trees, Luxenburough has leveraged their innate connection to the weave to their benefit. However, having exhausted the natural resource within their own, quote, annexed land, the Seir Elder made a deal with their neighbors in the Forest Bastion. In return for access to a section of the Forest Bastion and Weave Willows, Luxenburough must cease its expansion and remain out of the affairs of those who dwell in the Bastion. This doesn't stop the black market trade of illegal harvesting, though. The Weave Willow Grove is a significant resource of arcane-infused magic items. It is the driving force of industry in the city and abroad.
The city's founding is an important event in the history of Luxenburough. Every 100 years, a celebration occurs in the month of autumn. This celebration is known as Arenarna, or the Great Rebirth. Masks, costumes, and parades are commonplace. This is a month to show the rest of Granzia the wealth, power, and tradition of the Elves of Luxenburough. Notable people and places. Pasian Nodelhun, a male high elf, highly sought after crafter and artificer, proprietor of the Glowing Pixie.
Miari Dunmith, a male Eldrin, descendant of the legendary warrior Laervin Dunmith, hero of the First War of the Fey Kings, and captain of the Gesir Anth Telia, the Council Guard, or Keepers of the Path.
Hiyan Norithin, female high elf, headmistress of the Shesh Oth Neluan Menatu, or place of hidden knowledge. Accomplished and lauded abjuration wizard.
Thea Galanodel, female Eladrin, daughter of Telya Galanodel, missing for more than a century.
Twilight Gardens, a ring of perfectly manicured gardens that separate the interior and exterior districts. Here, the last remaining weave willows exist within the city limits.
Arcane Alley, an alleyway of extra-dimensional space that moves throughout the city, said to be Luxenburough's black market, contrived by rogues and wizards. Legend states that it appears in times of great need or temptation.